Hiya! Welcome! Bad Album Month here on Minidisc Monday rolls on, and this is the third one here in March to look at today. Do you think it's a bad album? If you've heard it before, let me know in the comments. But in the meantime, I will show you which one I'm referring to today. And this is the third studio album from Jamiroquai, Travelling Without Moving.
Magic spells will be doing for us, and I'm giving all my love to this world, only to be told I can see, I can breathe, no, not where we'll be, and nothing's gonna change the way we live, cause we can always take but never give, and now things are changing for the worse. See, wow, it's a crazy world we're living in, and I just can't see that half of us immersed in sin is all we have to give these futures made of virtual insanity. Now always seem to be governed by this love we have for useless twisting of your new technology. Oh, now there is no sound, but we all live underground.
So this is Jamiroquai, the British funk band. Acid jazz was how they originally started, although that genre, it's not really to be confused with the label of the same name, although Jamiroquai were on that label for at least one early single, I believe. But this is out on the Sony Soho Square label, the band fronted of course by JK. When I first listened to this, when I bought it many years ago, and I'm pretty sure I didn't pay much more than £20 for this, I didn't enjoy it at all. They're still going today, Jamiroquai. Don't think they've released an album since around 2017-ish, I think, according to my research. But we're looking at this one, their arguable breakthrough album, really. And we'll have a look at the case and the disc and the booklet. So the case has a big old crack down the front. Yes, I think you can see that in certain lights, but it's not off its hinges, so that's a bonus. The album artwork, of course, which is riffing on the Ferrari logo, is on that side of the disc, and track listing and copyright and legal stuff on that side. As for the booklet, this is in fine condition, got lyrics in it, folds out like a concertina. It's fine, but what of the album itself? Well, first and foremost, JK was quite a controversial figure at the time of this release, because with his homage to Ferrari and his admittance that Travelling Without Moving was about, I think the quote was something like cars, girls and freedom or something like that. A lot of people were calling him out on hypocrisy, that he was so into his cars, his collection of sports cars. Yet in previous interviews and on previous albums as well, I think he'd written and spoken a lot about environmental issues. That's by the by. I've just finished listening to this again. Did I enjoy it more the second time around? I think I did a little bit, but this is still one of my least favourite mini discs in my collection, and therefore it qualifies as a bad album this month. So we kick off with the big single, and what would have been Jamiroquai's biggest single up to that point, and I think still their best known track around the world really, Virtual Insanity. Got to number 3 in the UK. It's got, of course, a famous video that has been parodied and turned into memes to this very day. I never liked it. Didn't do anything for me, that single. The video, yeah, I kind of watched it once and thought it was quite clever how they did it, and that was it. I was over it. Shame no one else is here in 2025. I can see why it did well. It's catchy enough, but not too bothered. I did prefer track 2, Cosmic Girl, which was also the follow-up single. There again, it has slightly diminishing returns for me here. I want to point out at this point that JK, he is sounding very much like a kind of British Stevie Wonder. It's almost a bit of a kind of pound shop tribute really throughout this album. Yeah, he's got a good voice, the band are tight, you know, some good drumming, some good horn sections throughout this album, and you know, there is a kind of meshing of different styles which we'll get onto, but it's all a bit sort of tribute band to me, and given that Jamiroquai are white, middle-class British people, it sort of doesn't really ring true to be a proper funk album, really. It feels like it's cosplaying a little bit, really, for me. Track 3, that was pretty good, to be fair. Use the Force. It had some nice samba-style drumming on it. Then track 4 is Everyday. Track 5 is Alright. That was another top 10 single, along with Virtual Insanity and Cosmic Girl. And that's about all I can say about the track. It was alright. You know, you've kind of heard one Jamiroquai song. In a way, you've heard them all, to be honest. But track 6, High Times, that was probably, for me, the strongest of the singles. I'm not saying it was absolutely amazing, but it was fine for what it was. Number 7, Drifting Along. And then number 8 is sort of like an instrumental interlude here, Digirama, with Didger being a play on the didgeridoo that is prevalent throughout the track. It's very throwaway and it's sort of like a buffer really between everything else, but it was okay, it was fine. Obviously JK had kind of things to explore relating to Aboriginal culture at this point, hence why 2 tracks in a row on this album use a didgeridoo of all instruments, because there's Digirama and then there's rather more fuller track, that's track number 9 following straight after, Digital Vibrations. There again, digital is playing on didgeridoo. It's not pitching a tent for me, this album, really. It didn't the first time. I'm enjoying it a little bit more the second time round. The title track, Travelling Without Moving, is track number 10. You Are My Love is track 11, and a sort of almost ballad, if you can accuse Jamiroquai of doing ballads, but Spend a Lifetime is track number 12, seemingly the last track on the album. But wait, it's not, because there's a hidden bonus track, and that one, I looked it up, it's called Function, with Funk, F-U-N-K, Shun, and you think like a hidden track or a bonus track that isn't credited might be just some sort of very brief piece, an instrumental maybe, just kind of like a hidden Easter egg sort of track, but it was a long thing. It just went on for over 8 minutes and starts out with some competent drumming and a rather annoying chuckle from JK, and it just goes into a admittedly self-indulgent bog standard funk track. So that was Travelling Without Moving. I can't really recommend it. As Jamiroquai albums go, it's the only one that I'm likely to ever own. The singles are okay at best. There's some interesting stuff. I like how he uses sort of Brazilian rhythms and Aboriginal instrumentation. That's interesting, and it sort of works for the most part. But overall, this is just JK doing his best Stevie Wonder impression as always, and it's not my cup of tea really. That's why I consider it a bad album. It's not awful, but the title of the series is Bad Album Month. I've got to choose 5 so that we get one a week done. And Jamiroquai, some people might find it a little bit unfair that I've chosen this one, but I have done, so there you go. Jamiroquai's Travelling Without Moving was your album for Minidisc Monday today. Only 2 more editions of Bad Album Month for March to go. So I want to say thank you to everyone who's watched this, with special thanks that go to my wonderful subscribers and generous patrons. I'm going to go now, and please join me again in just 1 week's time for the penultimate Bad Album this month on Minidisc Monday. Cheers everyone. See ya!